Hello, welcome to my channel. It's me, Mish, the Dorky Reader, and today's video is my July TBR reading wrap-up video where I go over all the books I did or didn't read in the month of July, and I had a pretty good reading month, so I can't wait to get to those books with you. The first book I'm going to talk about, though, was a DNF. So it was a bad start. I read about 100 pages and I couldn't go any further, and I really wanted to love this book. I love the title of the book. I like the concept. I mean, I love humor mixed with fantasy, but Kill the Farm Boy was not it for me. This book took a punchline for every single sentence written. It was so too much. It was way too much. Also, on top of that, none of the characters were really likable except maybe a goat, and that was probably the only character I liked from what I read. I did not, of course, finish it, so I can't comment too much on it. When I do that, I don't give it a rating on Goodreads. I just remove it from my list because I didn't fully finish the story. How could I rate it? But I did not enjoy my time reading this book. I'm really sad. I know my son wanted me to like it because he also thought the title was humorous and probably would have liked that to be a good book. Alright, okay, so the next book I read in July was Anathema by Carrie Lake, and I really love the atmosphere, the world building, the really creepy, grotesque monsters. It was pretty horrific, which makes it a perfect book to read in the fall, especially October. I didn't love the romance in the book, but it wasn't as big of a part of the book as I thought it would be, so it was tolerable. I don't know if I'll continue the story, but I still enjoyed myself reading it quite a bit, and I do have to admit that she's a fantastic writer because the horror elements, the fantasy elements of this book were really great. So that's Anathema by Carrie Lake. I did not end up reading Silver Cloak by L.K. Stevens, so this one's going back on the TBR cart or shelves, whichever. The same with The Raven Scholar. I did not manage to put this beast of a book on there, but I did end up reading The Sun and the Star Maker, and this book, I'm so sad to say, was a letdown. It was a total letdown for me. I wanted to love it so much because, one, it's probably the prettiest book I have on my cart, or I did at the time. The sprayed edges are probably some of my favorites. I just really love the way they look. It looks like stained glass in a sunset. I don't know. I hate how I can never tell if it's focused because I can't look at it. But anyway, I love the aesthetic, okay? And in principle, it should have worked for me, but it didn't. The female main lead was terrible. Like, she was so obnoxious. She was angry all the time at the Star Maker. She was constantly looking for a reason to be feisty and bantery, but it just made her terrible. She was just a terrible person. I was not rooting for her. I thought she was just so obnoxious. So I managed to read the whole thing, so I'm really proud of myself because I was like, near the end I wanted to just skim, but I did. And I feel so bad saying that. Like, what if the author sees this video, God forbid, one day? Like, that would be the worst. I would feel so bad. Please just know this is my personal opinion, and other people would probably really enjoy this book. It's just not for me. It wasn't for me. Alright, next I ended up reading Murder on the Orient Express by Agatha Christie. This is a murder mystery set in the 1930s, I believe, and it features Hercule Poirot. I was worried if I said it the right way or not. My mom would kill me if I said it wrong. But anyway, and he's on a train and he's trying to figure out a murder that happened on the train under very mysterious circumstances. I will say that partially through the book, I kind of knew what was going on. I mean, maybe not the exact scenario, but I kind of figured out some things, and so it wasn't such a shocking twist at the end or anything like that. But it was still a good time reading. I will say the language is a little bit dated, so take it with a grain of salt as you dive into this one. But it was accessible, it was short, and it was a good first go for me. Another book I ended up reading was Agnes Aubert's Mystical Cat Shelter, and this cozy fantasy was very charming. I loved it, actually. And if you're a fan of cats and you like hearing about little interesting cats and you want to see them adopted to good homes, there's lots of that in this little book, but there's also so much magic and quirky magic and portal magic, and there's a really eccentric wild magician, all powerful, who does really weird things, and there's this, I don't know, it's just very charming setting in like a French-speaking Canadian town, and it kind of gives this wonderful magical kind of feeling. I don't know how to describe it, but I really had a good time reading it. For a cozy fantasy, because sometimes those can be a little dull, this one still had enough excitement for me to keep me going. There was definitely some evil magicians and good ones, and I don't know, I had a really good time reading this, and it had a cute kind of resolution. I will say the one thing I wish it had a little bit more of, just a little bit more, would be romance. There was romance, but it was just, you only got a little taste of it, and I kind of feel like this book would have been a 5-star for me if they could have just added just that little bit more of the romance. But that's just my own personal opinion. I mean, I like that this book was charming. I can lend this to my daughter. There was nothing inappropriate. That kind of thing is fine. Not that she would want to. Maybe she would want to. I don't know. But anyway, I liked it. It was a good book. I'm glad I picked it up. Another book I did not read was Trial of the Sun Queen, and I also did not read The Hexologist, so these two are out. But Alright, and so, just so you know, I've taken so many, edits of this because I keep having verbal diarrhea today. It is so bad. Every time I try to pick up a book and talk about it, bleh. It comes out so terrible. But anyway, another book I did end up reading was The Unselected Journals of Emma M. Lyon 2. I loved it, of course. I really love her little neighborhood of St. Crispin's. I love all the people I've met. And in book 2, you get to meet a couple new people, and you get to deep dive a little more into some of the ones you met in book 1. And I just really like it. I love her voice. Emma M. Lyon is such a charming character, and I highly, highly recommend this for anyone who likes books that kind of give you a little bit of Jane Austen's humor, but I think it's a little bit later, instead of Regency, it's Victorian, so it's just a little bit different time frame, but it's still, I don't know, it's all very good. Anyway, I really enjoyed it. And then the book I read that wasn't on my TBR was such a surprise for me. I ended up picking it up at Books A Million bookstore. I went there with my kids, and I got my kids each a little book, and I was like, oh, I want to grab one too, and so I grabbed it, and then that night I went home and I just started reading it, and I wasn't expecting to like it actually as much as I did. I picked it up because when I was younger, I was a huge Hermione fan. I loved Hermione from the Harry Potter world, and I'd read a lot of Hermione fan fiction. Not as bad as some people. I didn't like some of the weird stuff, but I read some for sure. And so there's this book that came out that was I think a fan fiction that got turned or shifted or reworded by the author to be sold as its own publication, and it's The Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy. I know there's a more popular cover that has 2 people on the cover instead, but I got this paperback. It was cheap, and it had beautiful sprayed edges. But anyway, I was expecting not to really love it because it gets kind of hit or miss reviews online, but I actually just had so much fun with it. I think my rating for a book that I know was kind of started as a fan fiction, I don't have as high of expectations, and so then I can just really let go and have a good time reading, and that's what I did. It has a lot of adult humor in it, really, really kind of, jokes that are on the spicy side. There's some stuff going on that I normally would be really annoyed with, I think, in a book, but for whatever reason in this one, it was fun, and it was still exciting, and there is a plot behind it all that's moving it forward, and I really like the dynamic between the 2 lead characters in this world, so that was a lot of fun. I picked up book 2, and I'm hoping to get around to it sometime on one of my future TBRs, so maybe stay tuned and we'll see how that goes. I did hate how this copy has this thing here. When I picked it up at the store, I thought that was a sticker I could remove when I got home. You can't. It's like part of the book. Who does that? I want to talk to the people who made this book. Alright, those are the books I read in July. I hope you had a good time watching my video. I know it's a little choppy. I'm not the best at this whole editing thing. And I hope you had a few more better reads than I did. I had a few that were not so great, and maybe your reading month was better than mine. Put down below the worst and the best book you read in the month of July, and I hope to see you in August. Thanks, and see you next time.